To access the Sales Order section of JobMaster, click on the Sales Order button on the main menu. This will take you to a window which shows you all of the sales orders entered into JobMaster so far. There are two grids on this window. The top grid lists all of the sales orders that have been created and shows the number for each sales order which identifies it, the revision number of the sales order, the ID and name of the customer it's being sent to, and the total dollar amount. If you click on one of the sales orders in the list, the parts and materials which are in that sales order are displayed in the bottom grid along with their quantities. Notice that there are also 4 buttons at the bottom of the window with arrow-like symbols on them. Going from left to right, the first button selects the sales order at the top of the list. The second button selects the sales order right above the one that's currently selected. The third button selects the sales order right below the one that's currently selected, and the fourth button selects the sales order at the bottom of the list. There are also some search features on this window that allow you to filter the list of quotations. In the upper right corner of the window, there's a Locate By panel. If you click in the circle called Order ID and then type the number of a sales order into the yellow box below and press the Enter key, the list of sales orders will be filtered so that only the sales order with the number you typed and all of its revisions will be displayed. You can also filter the list to only display the sales orders that are for a particular customer. To do this, select the circle called Customer ID and type the ID of the customer into the yellow box below and press the Enter key. This will filter the list of sales orders so that only the sales orders for the customer whose ID you typed will be displayed. Lastly, you can filter the list to only display the sales orders that include a particular inventory item. To do this, select the circle called Inventory Number and then type the ID number of the part or material into the yellow box below and press the Enter key. This will filter the list so that only the sales orders with the inventory item whose ID you typed will be displayed in the list. Right below the Locate By panel, there are several buttons. If you click on the Quote List button, this will open up the list of quotes in JobMaster. View the video on the quotation section for details on how to use this window. For now, we'll just click on the Close button to exit back to the window listing the sales orders. Just below the Sales Order List button, there's a button called All Revisions. If you click on this button, this displays all the revisions for all the sales orders. If you click on the Current Revisions button, this displays only the most current revision for each sales order. If you click on the Print Open Orders button, this prints a report that shows all of the sales orders in JobMaster that are still currently open. For each sales order, the order ID, the customer ID, and the name of the customer it's sent to, the date of the order, the delivery date, and the revision number are shown. If you click on the Job Backlog button, this will print a report showing all of the parts that have not been shipped for each sales order. The report shows the quantity that has not been shipped for each part, the price per unit for each part, and then multiplies the quantity not shipped by the unit price to show the total cost for the unshipped items. Below those buttons is a feature that lets you print a projected commission report, which shows you all of the commissions that each salesperson is going to be awarded for all open sales orders. First, you have to specify a date range by entering the start date of the report into the Start Date field and the end date into the End Date field. Enter the date as the month followed by the day and then the year. Then click on the Projected Commission Report button to print the report. This report separates all of the open sales orders by salesperson and shows the total for each order before tax, the salesperson's commission percentage, and the total dollar amount for their commission. To create a new sales order, click on the New button, which opens the window at which you create a new sales order. The first thing you should do at this window is select the customer who the sales order is for. This is done using the Customer ID drop-down list. Notice that when you select the customer, their billing and shipping information automatically fills in. If the buyer sent a purchase order, you can enter the number of that purchase order in the Purchase Order Number field, and you can also enter a name into the Attention field. As you can see, there are 3 tabs on this window. The first is the Customer Addresses tab. where the customer's billing and shipping information is displayed. If you click on the Sales Rep, Shipping and Customer Reference tab, this will open up an area where you can enter information pertaining to the sales representative who's handling the sale, the shipping method used, and notes about the quotation. If you click on the Sales Order Amount tab, this shows you the totals for the sales order. To enter a new line item on the sales order, click on the New Line Part button. This opens up a window where you enter the details for a new line item on the sales order. From the part number drop-down box, select the part number of the part which you want to add on the sales order. The unit price at which you're selling this part automatically appears in the unit price field. However, if you want to enter a different unit price, you can replace the unit price that's automatically filled in with whatever price you'd like. In the quantity field, enter the quantity that's being sold. In the subtotal field, the unit price multiplied by the quantity will automatically display. To the right of the quantity and unit price fields, there are two checkboxes called Route or Traveler and Deduct from Inventory. These two checkboxes give you the option of either selling the part you selected directly out of your inventory or generating a shop traveler to produce the parts in-house to ship to the customer. If you check the Route or Traveler checkbox, then a shop traveler will be created to produce the part in the quantity specified here. We show you how to use this section of JobMaster where you create shop travelers in another video in this tutorial. If you click the Deduct from Inventory checkbox, then the parts you're selling are deducted straight from inventory. If you want to enter a discount for the part, select whether you're entering a dollar amount or a percentage, and then enter the discount into the Discount field. Next, if you want to enter a sales tax, first check the Taxable checkbox. Then select whether you're entering a percentage or dollar amount. If you want to add the shipping charges for this item, enter them into the Shipping field. The total, which is the sum of the subtotal, discount, taxes, and shipping, is automatically filled into the Total field. Notice that at the right side of the window there's a grid called Quantity Pricing. Quantity pricing enables you to set the unit price for an item depending on how much the customer is purchasing, or in this case, the quantity you're quoting for. As you can see here, the unit price is $15 for any quantity less than 10. Then it goes down to $12 for a quantity from 10 up but less than 20. Then it goes down to $10 for any quantity of 20 and up. For example, if we enter a quantity of 15, the unit price becomes $12, and the subtotal calculates to $180. Once you've entered all of the information for the new item, then click on the OK button to enter the item on the sales order. If you've selected the Deduct from Inventory checkbox, at this point, the item will be automatically deducted from inventory by the quantity you're putting on the sales order. If you've selected the Route or Traveler checkbox, then a shop traveler will automatically be created at this point. See the video regarding shop travelers for instructions on how to work with shop travelers. Otherwise, click the Cancel button if you want to exit from this window without entering the new item onto the sales order. We'll explain what the New Part and Cost Breakdown buttons do in just a moment in this video. If you want to save the part onto the sales order and then enter another part, then click on the Next Part button. This brings up another window where you can enter the details of another new part. We'll click on the Cancel button to exit from this window. To edit a line item on the sales order, click on the item and then click on the Edit Line Part button. Here you can change any of the details about the line item. Once you've made all of your desired changes, click on the OK button to save them. Click on the Cancel button to exit without making any changes. As mentioned earlier, there are two other buttons called New Part and Cost Breakdown. If you click on the New Part button, this brings up a window where you can enter a new inventory part. Since the details of entering a new inventory part are out of the scope of this video, please view the video concerning the inventory section to learn how to use this window. If you click on the Cost Breakdown button, this lets you edit the cost breakdown for the item. But first, you must choose whether the cost breakdown only applies for this sales order or whether you're making changes to the cost breakdown on file for this item in inventory. Once you select your option, click on the OK button. This takes you to a new screen where you can edit the cost breakdown for the item. If a cost breakdown is already on file for the item, then the information will automatically appear in this window. Otherwise, everything will be blank and you'll have to make one from scratch. The total calculated cost for the cost breakdown becomes the unit price for the item. However, a complete description of how to use this window is out of the scope of this video. View the video on the Inventory section of JobMaster for complete details about the cost breakdown window. If you'd like to delete a line item from the sales order, just click on the line item and then click on the Delete Line button. Click Yes when asked to confirm that you want to delete the item from the sales order. Lastly, you can print the sales order by clicking on the Print button. Keep in mind, however, that printing the sales order will save it, so only print the sales order if you intend to save it. One more thing that needs to be mentioned is that if you choose to sell parts directly from inventory and you have insufficient inventory on hand to cover the order, JobMaster can automatically create an internal order or a purchase order. To demonstrate, we'll open up a line item for a part on the sales order by editing it. Then we'll change the quantity of the part to a number that exceeds what's on hand in inventory. When we click on the OK button, a small window pops up informing that there is insufficient inventory. Click Yes if you want to create a purchase order or internal order. If you click on Internal Order, this automatically creates an internal order. If you click on Purchase Order, this automatically creates a purchase order. If you click on Manufacture to Order, this changes the item from being on the Deduct from Inventory setting to being on the Router Traveler setting, so that a shop traveler is created for the part instead of it being deducted directly from inventory. Right now, we'll simply close out of those windows. Once you're finished entering all of the information on the sales order, click on the OK button to save it, or you can click on the Cancel button to exit from this window without saving the new sales order. To edit an existing sales order, click on the sales order and then click on the Edit button. This opens up a window where you can edit the sales order. Notice that there is also a View Quote button at the bottom right part of the window. If the sales order you're editing was created from a quote, clicking on this button will take you to the original quote the sales order was created from. At the top right corner of the window, there's a field called Quote Number. If you're editing a sales order that was created from a quote, the number of the quote will appear in this field. Click on the OK button when you've made all your desired changes, or click on the Cancel button to exit from this window without saving any changes. If you want to delete a sales order from JobMaster, click on it and then click on the Delete button. You'll be prompted to confirm that you want to delete the sales order. Click Yes to confirm that you want to delete the sales order. You can create revisions of sales orders as well. A revision of a sales order has the same number as the original sales order, but a different revision number. Any changes you make to the revision are not reflected in the original sales order. To create a revision of a sales order, just click on the sales order you want to revise and then click on the Revise button. This opens a window where you can edit the revision. You'll notice that all of the information from the original sales order is already present. Notice that at the top of the window that the revision number is 1. If you choose to make another revision, that one will be numbered 2, and the revision after that will be numbered 3, and so on. Once you've made all of your desired changes, then click on the OK button to save the new revision. You can also make an exact copy of a sales order. This new copy is identical to the original sales order, but has a new sales order number. To do this, click on the sales order you want to copy, and then click on the Reproduce button. This makes a brand new sales order but copies all of the information for the original sales order onto it. Click on the OK button to exit from this window. When you're finished working in the sales order section of JobMaster, click on the Close button to exit back to the main menu. The last thing we'll demonstrate in this video is how to create a sales order from a quote. First, we'll click on the Quotation button to enter the quotation section of JobMaster. Then we'll select a quote to edit. Notice that at the bottom right of the window there's a Sales Order button. However, this button will not be active if the quote is in quantity pricing mode. It must be in standard quote mode for the button to be active. See the video on the quotations section of JobMaster for information on standard quotes and quantity pricing quotes. After you click on the sales order button, another window will pop up. This window is where you select which items from the quote will be put into the new sales order. Basically, you select the items you want to include from the left panel and place them in the right panel. You move an item from the left panel to the right panel by clicking on it and then clicking on the Select button. You can move all items at once by clicking on the Select All button. To remove an item from the right panel, click on it and then click on the Unselect button. You can remove all items at once by clicking on the Unselect All button. Once you've decided what items you want to include on the sales order, then click on the Create Sales Order button to create the sales order.